Hello investors, welcome to Foreseeable, the Value Stock Analyzer. It's time for our This Week in Mullen Automotive. This week we are looking at 22 cents a share. I believe that's exactly where we were this time 1 week ago. Please be sure to like and subscribe so we can continue to make updates just like this on some of our featured stocks from the past. Last week we talked about insider trading. If we come back over here, we can see our CEO, David Mitchery, has sold quite a bit of shares, totaling a couple $1 million in income for himself, but still leaving him with a little over 100 million shares in the company. This week, I wanted to talk about two things, really. One, where does Mullen get its money and how much money does it really need for its operations, and the state of its balance sheet. So to do that, first, I want to come over here to our income statement. I'm going to break this down by quarterly, and we can see if we look at operating income, we can get an idea of how much money they're spending. And we can see over the last 4 quarters, their spending largely increased quite a bit. 30 million for the quarter ending 3/31/22. And then 18 million, then 34 million, and then the most recent reported quarter, $73.62 million. If we do break it down to annually, we can actually see the previous fiscal year total was almost $97 million. And for the current fiscal year, they're off to a very spenduous start at $73 million. Now, where do they get this money? Well, first, let's take a quick look at the balance sheet. We're going to do the same thing. Look at the last 4 quarters. 4 quarters ago, they were at $65 million in cash on the balance sheet, then $60 million, then $54 million, and then $68 million. So the question is, where is Mullen getting its money to fund its operations right now? And let's also keep in mind, it's not coming from revenue. They've put up nothing but goose eggs on revenue for the entirety of their public existence. So looking at that balance sheet once more, even if we look at an annual view, they've had anywhere from 2.2 million, which is actually what they got when they first went public. That was their initial funding. The last reported year, 54 million. The last reported quarter, 68 million. So again, where does this cash come from? Well, it's actually really simple. It's coming from share dilution. If we look over here, we can see the number of shares outstanding over the last 4 quarters up until now. 4 quarters ago, they only had 4 million, I should say, shares outstanding. That quickly went up to 332 million, then 509 million. We have an NA here for some reason. But leading up to today, 1.7 billion shares outstanding. So this is going to account for the price drop that we've seen. If we come back to Proximo, we can actually see the price has just continuously gone down over the last 4 quarters. We're at $3.31 peak. Actually, the 52-week high is $4.18. But then fast forward to now at 22 cents. A lot of this is due to that stock dilution. They are diluting shares of the company to raise money to pay for operations to keep the company afloat and to keep the company moving forward. I wanted to also highlight this article from Investor Place. I think Investor Place might be the #1 place for Mullen news, so it might be worth checking out. They posted an article this week about Mullen's balance sheet hides an uphill battle and talks a lot about these themes, also including how they've been borrowing money at very risky rates, but not too dissimilar from what other EV startups have done, especially EV startups that are looking to ramp up their own manufacturing. This article also highlights some interesting accounting maneuvering around the recent acquisitions of Bollinger Motors and how they are kind of hiding some of the assets instead of in goodwill, in intangible assets. Definitely worth taking a read through. The other thing that it highlights is the fact that this is a company that has not generated any revenue yet, is continuing to fund itself through, diluting its shares, but also continues to pay the senior executive team quite handsomely. I am curious on all of your thoughts on the state of Mullen right now, their burn rate, their cash position, and the way that they incentivize their executives. Please leave a comment below. That's all I have for this week. Please be sure to like and subscribe Your subscriptions really mean a lot to me and to the channel. And also be sure to check out Prosimo.com so you can see this analysis for yourself, as well as analysis of any other stock that you are interested in. Thank you for listening. Go find some value.